those two people meet and then they start excluding you or talking shit about you, well, let them go. If two people are going to gang up against you when you introduce them, then you don't want them as friends. Welcome back. It's your host, Hallismmith, for another episode of Girl Core. I was around the most terrible couple a few weeks ago, and they were so passive aggressive. And it made me realize that lots of couples have a lot of inner problems. And here's the best tips I can give you on how to have a very healthy relationship, because I just feel like there are so many weird couples out there. And I feel like I'm super hyper aware of people's emotions because I grew up like in an eggshell environment with certain family members. And eggshell environment is pretty much just where like people put their emotions onto you and make you responsible for their emotions. So if somebody's in a bad mood, if somebody's doing this, like if somebody's stressed, like it's everybody else's problems but the person expressing their emotions. So like some example, like if you're somebody who grows up and when one of your family members gets home, you immediately go to your bedroom and you shut the door and you're really quiet. And anytime that person is in the house, the vibe kind of goes down. Everybody's kind of hyper aware of what they're doing and getting done. And because of that, it makes me super good at sensing people's emotions or tone or conversations. Like I am really good at picking up like what's going on usually without even understanding. Like I obviously have traveled a bit and been in other environments where they're speaking different languages that I don't understand. And even then, I feel like I'm usually pretty good at, when I don't even know what is being said, understanding the context because I'm hyper aware of people's emotions. Now, that's good, that's bad. It does make me a bit of a people pleaser at times because I'm so good at sometimes moderating other people's emotions instead of always thinking about my own, which kind of creates like a little bad cycle of pushing down my own emotions. I can. Anywho, because of this amazing ability that I have from a little bit of trauma and a little bit of, self-analysis, is that, first of all, you might not even realize that you and your partner are being toxic or having these bad habits. And that is completely okay. If you realize that you are making these mistakes in your relationships, that's okay because you can change them. You can redirect yourself. Who you are right now isn't who you have to be forever. And just because you were a bad person in a past relationship or even now doesn't mean you can't change. I was with this couple and they're cooking food and they're playing some music. And I'm just sitting there with my headphones on doing some work. I'm at like a person's house. I'm not giving you zero context. You're like, B, where are you? I was at a friend's house. The couple is in the kitchen. They are cooking food. I was working on my laptop, probably editing my podcast, and I hear them talking. And obviously, I'm a little nosy bee. Like that TikTok meme where it's like when you hear people talking shit, and it's like my ear gains it gets huge, and I'm fully locked in on their conversation, not even listening to what I'm doing. But I hear them talking, and one of the girlfriend, she puts on a song, and she's like singing it. She's like, "Ooh, yeah," and he was like, "Oh, who put you onto this song?" And she was like, "Oh, no, I just like to listen to a lot of music." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. It wasn't one of your past boyfriends, right?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, this is awkward." And like you could tell she like tried to shake it off, like, "Oh, haha, I just like to, me, I like to listen to lots of music. I have a lot of variety of taste." Like she's trying to like keep it going. They're making dinner. She's trying to keep the vibes up, but he doesn't want to drop it. And he's like, "No, I think it's funny. Like, it's just, you have a lot more experience than me, but that's okay. I guess it gave you good music taste." Like, boy cannot let this go. He keeps going at it. And because I am in the room clearly, and although I have my headphones on, you never know if somebody's listening or not. And I was, because I'm nosy. And it was just like a really awkward situation because you could just tell like there's little cracks in foundation. And you can see that in people's relationship, especially when they're in an environment where they feel comfortable or when they just like start to relax. It is my biggest pet peeve because I just don't like being around that type of couple because you always get put in these situations. And if you notice, like you have friends and they're always getting into these little tit for tats with their partner, they're like, "Oh, we can't mention that because we'll just start fighting," or, "Oh, we can't even talk about that thing or else it's going to start a new fight." That's not a healthy symbol. If you and your partner have something in your relationship that you cannot talk about because it's going to start a fight, then that fight is unresolved. Then you guys haven't figured it out. Now, there can be like funny disagreements. Like you guys have like, I don't know, like inside jokes that you guys disagree on. I can't think of any personal inside jokes at the moment, but you can have joke. For example, all me and my friends' relationships, I am a great driver. I personally think I'm an amazing driver, but everybody in my life does not agree with that. And I don't know why, because everybody else has gotten into driving accidents and all these problems, and knock on wood, but your girly pop has had some good driving history. So that's just a little example. That's like a little tit for tat that me and my friends' relationships, we can like disagree on. But if you have something in your relationship that every time you guys mention that, it turns into a fight. Like I was listening to this one couple and they're like, "Oh, no, we like can't talk about that anymore because we just like start fighting. Oh no, we can't talk about this subject." Like I mentioned something and they were like, "Oh no, we don't talk about that." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Like I thought it was like a joke. Like, "Haha, yeah, like you can't talk about that. Let's talk about it." But no, they're like, "Oh no, like we're gonna start fighting again." And I was like, "Okay, that's not a healthy sign, but that's okay because that just means that like there's something sensitive and there's something happening that's like going below the surface on whoever's side. And I've just learned through a couple relationships that there's healthy ways to talk about things and get what you want out of a conversation without it turning into a fight. Because that's the thing. Some couples are fighting. Like, obviously, it's kind of cute and funny because social media, like we've romanticized like women being mean to their boyfriends. Like, women, we can be the divas. But there's a point between just being a selfish, narcissistic brat, which trust me, I'm a brat all the time. I get it. Like, I agree. But there's a point where it's actually like not even funny. And once again, listening to the same couple talk and they're like, oh, we can't talk about that because we're going to get into a fight. And I was just like, okay, that's a little bit of a red flag. If you're seeing a lot of passive aggressiveness in your partner, like if they're constantly doing things that start little fights, there's obviously something deeper in your relationship that you guys haven't like figured out. And one of the things that this partner mentioned that I was like, this is really awkward, guys. And I don't know, maybe I'm just like a hyper aware person and I analyze too much. Maybe I'm getting into my head, but I think that's a problem. But the boyfriend and girlfriend are talking about how they've done a lot of traveling together. And they're talking about how they're telling me the story, but like, yeah, like we weren't sure if we were going to go on this trip. Then we went on the trip. It was really fun. And then the guy was like, yeah, that's actually when I really started liking you. Like, that's the first time I knew, like, dang, I could really be with this girl. And then the girl was like, she was like, oh, wait, but like we were already boyfriend and girlfriend then. Like, what do you mean that's when you figured out you actually wanted to be with me? And they were on like this super nice trip that she fully paid for, that she fully took care of. And it was all because of her. And he was just like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. I tried to laugh it off during the conversation and just like change the subject from this couple about to start a fight. Cause I was like, oh, that's awkward. But she was like, wait, no. Like, what do you mean that's when you decided you want to be with me? And that's when I really saw that side of you. You just made everybody feel so good on that trip and you just knew how to be that girl. And it just made me fall in love with you on that trip. But that's when I knew I actually wanted to be with you. And it was just a red flag. Because to me, if your partner is ever telling you, you guys were dating and they were like, oh no, like that's the moment, like, yes, that's the moment you fell in love with somebody. I can agree with that. There's like a moment when you're dating and then there's the next moment where you're like, oh shit, like I love this person. But the guy wasn't saying that. He was more saying like, yeah, because you have all these good connections and I can travel with you and you make more money than me, other people like you, it made me like you. And that's kind of what the girl was saying. Because then she was like, wait, so you only started liking me because you realized that other people liked me? And she was like, well, why are we even dating me in the first place? And then the girl, guys, when I tell you like the whole fight got out of pocket, like then they were talking about how like, oh, well, you just use me for this, you just use me for my money. It got so out of pocket, guys. I put my foot in my mouth. Like I was like, how do I get out of this conversation? Being with certain couples is a red flag. Like me and all my friends joke, like if you have a boyfriend, you have to get vetted through the number one head boyfriend. Whoever has been like, if you're in a friend group and whoever has had the longest relationship, their boyfriend, that couple kind of decides who's going to be in the circle. Because sometimes you want your best friend to check in with your boyfriends and be like, guy to guy, like a guy knows what a guy is up to. So if one of your new girls starts dating a guy, introduce him to the boyfriend, introduce him to one of your friends' boyfriends, because guys can see through other guys' bullshit. And even me, when I was stuck with that couple, I was seeing through his bullshit, that he was pretty much just using this girl for her connections and for what she had. And I felt really bad for my friend because I was like, you don't deserve that. Like this guy clearly didn't care about you until he realized that other people cared about you. And that's what made him more interested in you. And that's a big red flag. That's honestly something that like, oof, I'm going to keep my eye on my friendship because I'm like, girl, are you guys I don't know if you guys should be together anymore. I've learned that in a relationship to stay healthy, kind of just like validate the emotions, like if somebody's like, this is a shit show, be like, yeah, this is a shit show. I think a red flag in couples is when one person in the relationship can never let the other person be right. Like if they say something, it always is wrong. It's always wrong. Like, OMG, like I'm so stressed right now. Like, no, you're not. It could be worse. Like, you're not stressed. Or like, oh, we should go this way. And they're like, no, we shouldn't. Like, it's a different type of like constant fighting. Now there's like little, cute tit for tats and things like that. But this is an actual like 24/7. This person always is denying what you're saying. And sometimes you need somebody just to validate you. If you're stressed out, you just need somebody to just be like, yeah, this is happening. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like take your time. That works so much better than just getting mad at somebody and getting reactive. That's just not going to get you anywhere. And I've even taken this into my friendships. Like when my friends do something that I don't like, or they do something, kind of mean, where you're like, hey, that was out of line. Like maybe they said something, maybe they did something that you're like, hey, that wasn't nice. And when you say that to somebody as a grown adult, when you seriously, with like no meanness, nothing in your voice, you're just like, hey, that wasn't nice, besides just like a little bit of hurt. Like you sound a little hurt. You just tell your friend or your partner, you know what you just did, like it really wasn't nice. And like it makes somebody feel so bad. That makes somebody feel so much worse than you yelling at them and being like, you're such a freaking la 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 la, and like cussing somebody out makes that gets somebody else fired up. That feeds into this vicious cycle. Whereas you just tell somebody like, that wasn't really nice, or that didn't really make me feel good, or that wasn't like, why would you do that? It reverts you back to like a childlike stage where you're like, wait, what? Because like you don't usually get talked like that as an adult. Usually as adults and other adults, we all are so reactive and energy, we're all tired, we're all stressed. We all have so much going on, and especially in a relationship. So in the relationships that you do care about, your friendships and your partner, try to speak a little nicely, try to explain your emotions more childlike. Like if they said something that you don't like or if they did something that offended you, say it like it is. Like, that was mean. You're being a meanie, and I don't like how you said that. And then dive into the deeper form of it. Because if somebody's stressed out or they're doing something or they're saying something passive aggressive, pick it out. Because damn, a girl, I hate passive aggressiveness. First of all, I'm just too lazy to deal with that bullshit in my friendships or my relationship. But nothing is worse than just somebody who's constantly being passive aggressive. And if you notice your partner's doing that, figure it out. Because just like that one couple I told you about who was jealous, or the other couple who the guy obviously had some resentment of my friend's dating history. There are so many little things that can tear apart a relationship. And if you don't figure it out and you just let it sit there, it's just going to boil over. I feel like the bigger secret too to having a healthy partnership and relationship is not having fear of letting your partner be themselves or go do themselves. Like, yes, you are a partnership, but you should also be able to live and explore your own life. So if you want to travel, if you want to go see your friends, if you want to do something, your partner, your relationship should be strong enough where you guys can do things separately. Now, that's a whole nother conversation on like codependency and like letting go of that, because that is connected. And trust me, guys, I love being codependent. I love just being with my boo and, doing everything together. But at some point, you do have to be doing your own thing, or else you're going to realize you're going to be in a stage in a relationship where you guys have been dating for a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows? And you're going to be like, wait, what do I do by myself? What are my hobbies? What are my interests? And do I feed myself anymore? Because when you were single, you had me time. You had so much me time. When you were alone, you read, you worked on your hobbies, you did this or that. And as you should, keep those in your relationship. And everybody goes through it. You kind of go through like that honeymoon phase, or just like those first few years or months where you're just all about each other and everything you do is together. But then at some point, you're going to feel empty because you're going to be like, well, when I'm not with them, I'm bored or I have nothing to do. And that probably means you haven't also still been feeding your own solo needs and your own solo time. And this is like, especially when you're younger, you just want to be together all the time. But even when you get older, it gets easier to fall into the cycle, I think, than even when you're in high school and stuff like that. Because when you get older and start dating, you move in together, you live together, you do everything together. And then you realize like, shit, I don't have a life of my own. I don't do anything just by myself. And if you're scared that if your partner goes on a vacation without you or does something without you, that they're going to cheat or they're going to do this or that, red flag, figure out something's wrong in the relationship if you cannot trust your partner to go be alone. If you can't even trust your partner to go, shit, I don't know, pick up groceries for you, and you're like, oh, they're going to be flirting with everybody. They're going to be hit on by everybody. Like, red flag, because either you're insecure and you have personal work to do, or you and your partner do not have the trust, or they've done something in the past to make you not trust them. But you want to work on the trust and build it up and really have that faith in your partner so that you guys can each be your own person. Because in a healthy relationship, you should still be an individual. You should still be like having individualness and your things that you like that they don't like. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to love everything that they love and do everything that they do. Like, you should be able to look at two people and be like, okay, Hallie has her interests, Hallie does this, and then they have their own parts too. Like, your friend group shouldn't just be like, oh yeah, they're just together and they do everything together and they both like this. You should be able to speak about each other with separateness. Like, there should not be a conjoined one. I feel like that just creates too many problems of you guys just being too similar or just not doing enough of what you each should be doing for yourself. Honestly, it's kind of laziness too, because it's easy to get in a relationship and then like kind of stop chasing the things that you were chasing or your goals or your dreams, because you guys are each kind of complacent in the relationship. You guys each are like, okay, like this is good. Like, we're in it together. Like, you guys are each being lazy. It's just like when couples get that, honeymoon weight where you guys are eating out a bunch of bad food. You guys are being a little lazy and cuddly. You're just like little bears hibernating. And you guys are feeling good because you're like, well, we both are looking a little, unhealthy. We're both doing these bad habits. You don't want to become codependent in that bad way. So try to really start early making those little things to stay independent and to do your own thing and to feel confident in your relationship. And if there's anything like this just shows you, like, if you guys can't do things alone, figure out why. Is it insecurity? Is it lack of trust? Whatever it is, it's usually those two things, but figure it out and you can have a healthy relationship. And don't be that friend that's having passive aggressive fights all the time or has all these weak spots in your relationship that just bring up bad memories. Now, yes, you can have previous fights and you guys fixed it and you guys are good. Maybe you don't always want to talk about it, but there's a difference when something's like, oof, if we start that, it's gonna be a fight tonight. Like it shouldn't be like fully reignited. It should be like, okay, yeah, that happened. Wasn't my favorite moment, but it shouldn't be like a freaking volcano ready to erupt if it is. That's usually a bad sign. But luckily, I have very healthy friendships, relationships. I'm actually not one to usually have a bunch of drama in my life. I can't even really say I've had a lot of drama since probably like high school. Like if there is drama, it's usually one-way beef. I have to admit, sometimes I'm a little clueless. I can honestly tap in more. I even have like realized that as an adult because honestly, talk about like analyzing your own emotions and how you act. Sometimes I've been like, damn, like why didn't I check in on that person? Like why didn't I say anything about that? Because I'm like, damn, I truly believe like give people space, let people, figure out their emotions, let people do their own thing. I'm not usually one to like bombard somebody to open up to me. Like if you open up to me, if we organically get into a conversation and things come about, beautiful. But I'm never gonna push somebody to get emotional. I feel like I know lots of my friends that love to get deep and emotional, and they know how to just like dig in there and like, we're gonna talk about this. I'm not one of those people. Like, I can be emotional, but I just don't dig into it in the same way. But I do love my friends because you have a good friend group when you're proud to introduce them to other people. When you're like hyped up to be like, yeah, these are my friends, and I know I can introduce them to any other group of people, and people will love them or find somebody in the group that they connect with and like because all your friends are solid. If you have a friend group where you're like, oof, I can't let those people meet her because she's gonna be too much or she's gonna be mean, maybe that's a sign you want to reevaluate your friend group. Your friend group should be a representation of yourself. If you're embarrassed about one of your friends about how they might act or how they might say something, that's usually not a good sign. Now, there's a difference between like jokingly being like, oh yeah, that friend always says some out of pocket shit. Never know what they're going to say. Like, okay, that can be funny and cute, even if they are spontaneous. But for the most part, you should be pretty proud to show off your friends and be happy that they can meet other people. But we need to get into it because sometimes I feel like girls get angry when their friends become friends with their other friends. It's almost like a relationship, because you're like, well, this is my best friend and I introduced them to my other friend, but now they're friends and you don't like that. That's too high school. Okay, we got to throw that shit out. If your friends that you introduce to people, if two people that you introduce to each other actually like each other and then start to hang out and talk to each other separately without you, that's a good sign. That means you interconnected your web. Your web is spreading in the best way possible. Now, there's a difference if that group, and this happens a lot, I feel like in college and school, just these environments where you're meeting so many people, girls get cliquey, girls get judgy. If they become friends and then turn against you, they were never your friend. If you introduce two people and they do become friends, and now you guys are all a unit and you guys can healthily hang out with each other separately together, that is such a good sign. I know it's easy to get jealous and be like, well, that's my person. Like, trust me, all of my friends are so amazing that I want to gatekeep them all. That's when you know you have good friends, when you want to gatekeep them. You want to keep them like a secret because you know other people are going to love them too. And I feel like all my friends are like that in their different ways. And once people know them, they're like, shit, they're so fun. I want to talk to that person again. And I'm proud of that because that means that is a representation of you. Because the people you surround yourself with are yourself. That's how you act. That's how you are. So if people like your friends, that means you're a good person. That means you have good values and they have good values. So try to let go of the jealousy if you do see your friends become friends or other people like your friends because honestly, shit, you love them, let other people love them too. Like you can't hold people tight. You don't own anybody, even your closest friends. You're gonna go through stages of life where your friends make new friends, where you guys are close and you kind of distance for a bit, but then you guys are always close. And that's when you know you've made a real one. And it's beautiful to see the new people that they bring into their life. And you don't have to love all your friends' friends. That's not what I'm saying. My friends have friends where I'm like, you guys are cool. You're not my people, but I like you. They're cool people. But they're not my besties. You don't have to love your friends, other people, but as long as you care about your one person and what's best for them. Because if at one point you realize that, hey, you're kind of gatekeeping your friend or you're kind of like not letting people meet your friend because you're being jealous and kind of like holding them hostage, that kind of says a lot about you. And you're almost being a negative energy for your friend. You're almost being a little bit of an energy vampire, I would say. You're almost draining that friend of their energy. You're holding them back from new experiences because of your own insecurity. And they are not your person. You do not own a relationship. You do not own a friendship. You have to let people do their own thing and meet new people and explore the world, or else you're just holding them back. And at one point, your friend is going to realize that and probably leave you. And then you're going to be petty and tell people like, oh, they're a piece of shit. Like they dumped me. Like they ghosted me. They just stopped being friends with me. Usually there were so many signs on why somebody stopped being friends with you, but people just love to play the victim instead of looking at themselves from an outside perspective. Years of my own self-analysis on my friendships, on these things, on seeing it with other people, and just analyzing and becoming more self-aware. And self-awareness, it hurts, okay? Because you're gonna realize you've probably done all these things. You've probably thought all these thoughts in couples and relationships and friendships, and that's okay because that just means you're growing and changing. Once you realize it, you do have to change it, because if you realize it and don't change it, then you might be a bad person, but that's okay. I'm so excited. I was actually just chatting with my friends this morning because, summer is coming up. We are making plans. We are trying to get together. Me and all my friends, we live far apart, and we are now trying to make sure we all meet up in one place this summer to all get together, and the pieces are falling beautifully together. I hope it does come together. We're still in the beginning stages, but I think we're going to get together, and I'm so hyped for summertime. We want to do a little traveling. Your girl is scared though, because summertime, I get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Like, mosquitoes love me. Whatever I do, I just taste so delicious. I am just mosquito meat, okay? They come for me. And I read on TikTok, I forget, I saw something somewhere about the Victoria's Secret's bombshell perfume. Apparently, mosquitoes hate this perfume. So I'm gonna be literally bubble baths, spraying myself in this, washing my hair in this, because I get eaten alive every summer by mosquitoes. And it is so annoying. I literally just got 2 bites. And when I get a mosquito bite, it's not just like a little bump, it turns into a giant inflamed circle, like the size of a quarter. It is huge. And then afterwards, it doesn't just like heal quickly. I like still have it on my hip, and it's gonna be there for like probably a month. It literally makes my skin turn super red, swollen, and then it turns purple where it looks like a bruise until finally it disappears. But it lingers way too long, and I cannot take it. So if you have any tidbits on how to avoid mosquitoes, please tell me. I feel like there's always so many wives' tales and all these things. Like, people are like, oh, do this, because every summer I get eaten alive, and everybody that I'm around, parents, friends, everybody has some little low-key secret to how to do it. I've tried lemon. I've tried the candles that the mosquitoes don't like. I've tried washing myself in different body washes that they say they don't like. I don't know if it's my blood type. I don't know what it is, but I'd be so juicy. And I know my friends are going to laugh at me because I'm not a bug person. If you see me out in nature, I am a little paranoid, okay? I'm a little jumpy. If you see me like jumping around all of a sudden, but I just don't like them. And I have such sensitive skin. If I get stung by a bee or a mosquito, it is gonna swell up, it is gonna get irritated. And because of my sensitive skin, I also get super hot easily in the summertime. And I sweat a lot, and apparently mosquitoes love that. Apparently they like sweat and hot, warm bodies. Like, that's what they chase, and that's literally me. And if I'm in any type of heat, like, I get heat rash very simply. Pretty much, me in summer, as much as I love her, I am fighting the bugs, the insects, and the temperature. Okay, my climate, I'm not really durable. I would say I'm not a really travel-friendly person, but I do love to travel and go out and about. But I do hate the bugs, and it is gonna be my biggest pain. I know this summer I'm gonna be fighting the bugs, and my friends are gonna be like, "You're being so dramatic," but like, I'm not. Except for my one friend who is actually allergic to bees. She is actually very allergic to bees, and I have to admit, when we were in high school once, I did shove her out of the way when a bee was chasing us, and I did sacrifice her. Now, luckily she did not get stung, or else I really would have felt bad, but I did naturally push her out of the way. I have to admit, guys, when it comes to the natural instincts of fight or flight, I am a flighter, okay? You're gonna be like, oh my God, run. I'm already gone, babe. You blinked and I was down the block, okay? I turned around, I sacrificed anybody I had to, and I can't even help it. When I'm scared and in my fight or flight, it's not even thinking. I'm not like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice my friend to save myself. No, it just happens. It just, it's that real animalistic instinct. My need is to survive. I'll push. I will run. I'm literally like, I probably would be a terrible person to be within like a zombie apocalypse. I tell people, like, just get the gun and, okay, baby, I don't want to see it. I don't want to be in it. I don't need to know. It is not for me. It would just be constant stress. My heart would be pitter pattering. I'd be the worst person in that situation. I am not the one. Now, I would not lie about a zombie bite. Honestly, go through this question with your friends, because we all talked about like, who would be the person in the friend group to lie if they got bitten by the zombies? Who would be the one? Honestly, I have one person in my friend group. I can't say it. I can't say it because I'm gonna get mad, because it's true though, and we can all agree on this. But ask your friends if you want to start an argument or a debate. Just ask them who would lie about the bite. It's pretty straightforward. All right, it's questions time. Let's get into this, guys. Hey girl, I hope you see this. There's this guy I'm talking to on Snap, but I have no clue how to meet up with him because we snap pretty much more than we talk. Okay, if you're talking to a guy, you're snapping him, you're texting him, and you never see each other in person, or you're just really awkward and you want to like, take it out. The low stakes way is honestly just to make it not feel so scary for them, and mention something that you're already doing. Like, hey, me and friends are going to go do this, this, and this. We're going to go bowling. We're going to go to this party. Do you want to join? Do you want to go? Like, we're just doing this. It's kind of zero pressure. Like, if he wants to show up, if he's interested, he doesn't have to go, but if he wants to, I think like that kind of open invite with plans that are already made, people like because they don't feel the pressure to honestly like just be you and him. If maybe they are more shy or maybe a little bit nervous about being with you, maybe having other people there would make them feel a little bit, more comfortable. The easiest one is guys love to help, okay? Guys love to feel productive. What is that like movie Failure to Launch where she like makes a guy, Matthew McConaughey, like, move out of his parents' house and she's like, you have to let them teach you something. Men love to teach women something. So if you are texting a guy constantly and you want to see him in person and do something, just ask him like, hey, I've been really wanting to go to like a good pizza shop or like a good smoothie place or a good coffee shop nearby. Do you know any good ones? And literally, babe, some guys might be dry. Okay. He might be a little clueless and be like, nope, don't know any. That's cool. Like, what about like this? Like, literally hound that man until you find something that he likes. Preferably, though, if you're going to pick something, try to pick something that you know he likes. If he talked about loving pizza or ramen or sushi and you know he has a spot, just ask it, even though you kind of already know. Be like, oh, yeah, like, I want to go get some sushi this weekend. I've been really craving it. What's your favorite place? And then he can tell you. And then once he tells you, you're going to be like, oh, that'd be so fun. Do you want to go together? And then boom, you've set up a date, you've set up a meeting. He feels good because he's kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna take her to this place that I know about. When you are in like this kind of situation, it makes somebody feel more comfortable when they're in an environment that they know, a restaurant that they know, a coffee shop that they know, their neighborhood. It just makes it a safe bet that you guys will have a good time and that they will want to join you. Hopefully that helps you take it to the Snapchat into the actual in real life. Next question. Hey girl, how do I take 2 pink water bottles in my mouth at the same time? Okay, if you're trying to take 2 guys' cucumbers in your mouth, it's down to training, baby. Honestly, it does depend how wide can your mouth open because it does depend on the girth. I will tell you this as somebody who's as a little bit of a slut myself, it is tricky because your mouth can only open so wide. Fitting 2 at once, you can usually get both of the tips in at the same time, but it honestly is down to the pose of how they're standing and what you're doing. If you are going to be in a little bit of a 3, to the way, and you're going to have 2 guys, I think the best pose is to have them standing up and obviously you sitting down, each in front of you. And you can honestly do like a little bit of both in the same time, just the tip, unless you really can open wide. You might be able to like go halfway at the same time. I think it's better though to kind of have them both standing up because then you can entertain each one at the same time. So while this one's getting some, more of your mouth attention, the other one's getting some hand action and they're like getting, you're doing like both hands back and forth or you're bringing them together. And I would kind of do like a little side by side, kind of squish them together and be like, kind of doing like maybe rub your face on both of them, kind of just entertaining, doing like more exaggerated things, like taking them both and, smacking it on your cheeks, on your tongue, where they each feel involved, where nobody feels left out because fitting both all the way in, unless you can really unlock your jaw like that, which trust me, I've known some, very talented bops that can do that. But lots of people struggle with it. It would also take practice. Like if you have 2 toys at home, practice kind of, at home doing a little warm up, one might say, but that's usually my best bet on how you're going to do it. How do I handle someone with a smaller package? Well, honestly, this one is pretty good because it's not always bad if somebody has a small package. They say sometimes even the smaller ones hit the G zone better, but don't be afraid of adding pillows and things to kind of prop up your hips and lifting your hips to make it easier for them to get you. Because if you're laying flat on the bed, it's kind of like they have to get really low and deep and kind of like if they have a bigger thing, that's easier. But if they're smaller, it's going to be hard for them to like, make up for it. So if you lift your hips, put some pillows under your hips, this lifts it up so that you're not so low and that they can easily get down there. Doing positions that are going to kind of tilt your hips and pelvis upwards, such as the missionary, those type of things are usually good. Even if you're going to do like if you're going to do doggy, yes, that one's really good because you're very spread, but you can kind of do it where you're laying on top of the bed, bent over, and they're standing. Those ones that kind of make sure it's nice and wide and really hit that spot. The small ones are good because they can hit the G zone better. If somebody does have a smaller package, work on changing the positions a little bit by like, if you're going to have your legs up, instead of having them just like super wide, instead kind of close your legs. Like if they're above you in missionary, I would wrap it kind of like above their neck, like twisting your legs, doing these positions that bring them more snug in, like doing a spooning pose works really nicely. Twisting your ankles together where you're kind of like now creating like a more of a hot dog in a bun situation. Like even if you're doing doggy, less of a wide stance and kind of taking a lead. Like if you're riding, instead of being so on top, because when you're just like sitting straight up and on top of a guy, it's easier when they have a bigger package to be bouncing up and down. If they're a little smaller, I like to lean closer to them, like chest to chest, where you're kind of hovering near his face and then more doing like hip action rather than so much bouncing because he might just not have as much length to bounce with. So, kind of working with poses that are less about bouncing up and down and more about like those grinding, kind of close sensations. That way, you can have more control and get every inch possible that you can. And I love adding, if somebody, it doesn't really matter any size can use these, but if they are a little bit smaller, rings are really nice because these really help to add more sensation for him. And it's going to also kind of give him a little bit of an extra inch. These are little rings that you put over their cucumbers. It fits any size. I have multiple sizes. These are by like Sexology. You can get these at Spencer's, but these ones work really good because you can wrap it over the water bottle. It's going to go to the base, but it's also going to squeeze all the blood up to the top of his pink water bottle, making it ever so slightly bigger and also keeping the blood flow at the tip. So it's going to as big as it can be pretty much. It's pretty much like gripping his little base and squeezing it for all it's got, but it's not like super tight and it feels really good for them and it adds like an extra sensation, but it'll also help stabilize it. So if they are a little bit smaller, sometimes you notice it's kind of like slipping out a lot. If it slips out a lot when you guys are going to Pound Town, when you're trying to ride and things like that, add a ring. Put a ring on his cucumber, okay? If you like it, put a ring on it. Putting a ring on it makes it so it's more upright and it stays more upright so it's not going to slip out. Somebody who's broken a man's pogo stick, it has slipped out and then I squished it and it bled. It was terrible. Using a ring can help because it makes it stand straight. It pushes all the blood to the top. And it also is nice if they have a smaller package because it's going to make it a little bit bigger, make it a little more stable. So don't be afraid of adding rings. These are so easy. They also have ones that have like vibrators on them at the same time. So it vibrates and hits their thing with good circulation, but it's going to hit your clit nice and comfortably. It feels so good. All right, guys, but that's my final question. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you're going to learn how to make your friendships, your relationships healthy because, I'm so tired of seeing bad relationships. I was literally just at the gym and there was this couple who was going tit for tat with each other the whole time. They were so passive aggressive. It literally killed my whole workout because I just could not stop listening to them and picking up their bad aura and bad energy. And as somebody who's super hyper aware of people's emotions, I don't like doing that because then I absorb that and I feel yucky. So, we're going to change that. We're going to fix that. But I love you guys. Hopefully you learned something. Make sure to give a like if you enjoyed the episode. I will catch you guys next Sunday for another episode of Girl Core.